What's up, y'all? It's your girl V with Reality Recap here for another Tea Talk session. Today we are discussing Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. We're on season 6, episode 2 that aired on September 23rd. And the title of the episode is Law and Out of Order, honey. And that's exactly what it was. I am enjoying this season so far, you guys. I am not shy about telling you how much I love Salt Lake City. I feel like it's the top tier franchise, always doing more, raising the bar. We talked about the first premiere episode where the lady started out with a cash trip. And in this episode, we're doing something a little different, right? Majority of the time, we see the women attend their own events that they're curated. And this time we attended another socialite of Salt Lake City who is not currently featured on the show, attended her event and acted a fool. And I was just here for it, honey. So let's get into the episode, y'all. I'm sorry I did not even put up the picture of who we are talking about. So let me do that. But in the meantime, guys, please make sure you like, share, and subscribe to my YouTube channel. It's coming across the screen. Reality Recap 2876 is how you find me on YouTube, or if you are a follower of my Instagram, Facebook pages, it's in the link in my bio as well. And of course, follow me on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok at what you see at the bottom of the screen, Reality, that's TEA underscore recap. And please like, share this video, subscribe, and follow for all the happening, trending reality news. All right. So let me get my notes up, y'all. Y'all know I got my trusty notes because I did watch this a few days ago. Just been busy with some content and things. So I appreciate your patience. We start off this episode still at the campsite from the premiere, the cash trip I was just telling you guys about. And Heather's talking about being excited about her kids leaving the nest, going off to college. She's been in what she described as fight or flight mode. We all know Heather was divorced. She stepped up to become not only the mom, but the breadwinner with her beauty labs, trying to juggle business and mom life for her, I believe, 3 daughters, is it? 2 or 3 daughters Heather has. And she was just excited for them to leave the nest. And Bronwyn spoke about being on the opposite end of things. I felt like they were just sharing, to be honest. But Bronwyn talked about being on the opposite end of things where she doesn't know her identity outside of being a mom to her daughter, and her daughter's leaving the nest, and she moved her daughter's boyfriend in to her home, something that you don't hear often in black families for sure. They don't even want you to sleep in the same bed with your boyfriend. It don't matter how old you are unless you guys are married. So but she moved her daughter's boyfriend in so that she could spend more time with her before she goes off and college and do her own thing or live on her own, and she feels like she's going to be losing out time with her daughter. Heather instantly took that as an insult, that Bronwyn was kind of shaming her, or mom shaming her. Don't mind my little star, y'all, trying to get rid of a pimple. Anywho, um Bronwyn, in my opinion, wasn't trying to shame Heather. They were just sharing their experiences. So if Heather's someone that has done her dues and ready for them to go out into the world and leave the nest, all good for her. I don't think Bronwyn was trying to mom shame her at all, but Heather took it that way, which we know it seems like their relationship is a little touch and go. They're still trying to figure each other out after a tumultuous season last year, where Bronwyn didn't invite her on the trip. They were going back and forth, really not seeing eye to eye. Heather being leery of her coming into the group because Bronwyn, she do a little talking over here behind people back, talking over there. She, this season, I will say she seems to be stepping up and really just saying shit to people's face, i.e. Lisa Barlow. But yeah, I don't feel like Heather was trying to mom shame her. Not Heather, Bronwyn was trying to mom shame her, but she took it that way. Um and also Whitney stepped in and kind of gave her side too, right? Saying like, well, now I wish I could be a stay-at-home mom. And now that I tank this business, I can't do that. I gotta work. We gotta figure out where the money's coming from. So again, I just felt like they were all just sharing their experiences, and Bronwyn didn't mean to offend Heather. I think Heather was being a little sensitive, in my opinion. Lisa and Heather meet. And Heather sings like a canary, honey. Like she tells her as any good friend would. So we can't be mad. I see some posts saying that Heather is a pick me girl. Heather has her own idea of what loyalty is, and her loyalty is sticking up for her friends. Her loyalty is letting them know, running back and letting them know this is what was said with you, about you while you were not around. And I don't see nothing wrong with that. I don't feel like Heather is a pick me girl. I did when she was on Ultimate Girls Trip, if I'm being honest. She was like starstruck by Portia, but who wouldn't be? She's gorgeous, honey. I'd be starstruck my damn self. I want Portia to pick me to do an interview for her. Shit. But anyway, yeah, I don't get that Heather. Heather has her mind. It's what she's been through in this group with the whole reality Von Teese of it all and all of that, where she is choosing to be loyal. And she went and sat down with Lisa and told her everything that was said at the campsite um, from Bronwyn about her lawsuit cases. She pretty much told her that Meredith didn't say much. She was quiet. She didn't mention that Angie compared her to Jen Shaw. Lisa didn't learn that until later in the episode when they go to this socialites party. But she gave her a rundown of basically the theme of the conversation surrounding Lisa being about these lawsuits and really Bronwyn being the one to kind of head that conversation. And Lisa was upset. I identify with Lisa. I posted about it. She is a Sagittarius, and we love hard. We're loyal, and we look for people to provide that same loyalty and love back to us, and we don't always get it at the level that we expect it because of what we give, and we end up getting our own feelings hurt because of that. So I feel like Lisa, she puts on the top front. She's saying she's like, she's okay, but she cried in that scene. Just she says she just felt like hearing that Meredith really didn't speak up for her. Heather was really the only one that had her back. And I said, Brittany is going to be upset when she sees that because Brittany really had her back too. Honestly, she jumped in first when they were on the RV. Like, worry about your businesses, Whitney. What you got to say over here? So Lisa was kind of disappointed in the conversations around her. She was upset and Heather gave her the 411. So she was ready going into this socialized party. She was ready to check some folks. And we'll get to that in a second. What was up with Lisa's confessional look though? Love Lisa, but I don't know what was going on with that confessional look. The red with the two braids, like her under eye mascara was way too dark. It looked like one of the lashes were hanging off. I did see in her stories she posted. I wonder if it's still up, but she had posted in her stories like, okay, take two. Like she redid her confessional look. Probably because she had received so much like I ain't gonna say backlash because it really wasn't that, but I guess so many people commented on it. It's not in her story anymore, but she had reposted like she redid her makeup and took the pictures again from her confessional look. But I don't know what was up. It looked a little bit crazy. Um And Lisa also talked about in that conversation about the lawsuits she was saying, and I talked about this last recap that 3 of the lawsuits, I know Bronwyn says there's 5. I'm only able to locate 3. One of them were already being dismissed, and she talked about here that, 2 of them were most likely gonna be dismissed in this conversation. So I do feel like Lisa needs to humble herself a little bit, love her. But when she said to Heather, like, I live a different life than all of you. We don't live the same lives. I don't have the same businesses. Everyone's business women. Meredith has her jewelry and her caviar. Heather has beauty labs. Whitney, even though it tanked at one point while Rose Beauty was doing well, Angie is a well-established salon owner of multiple locations. I don't get that comment of, I don't know what Bronwyn does for a living. Attends Fashion Week. Okay. Mary Crosby, we know she has her church, her inheritance from her grandmother. So everyone's pretty much established. Everyone on this cast is popular. Um, I guess she gets the biggest brand deals with Wendy's and all of that, but I just think she needs to humble herself just a little bit, sis. Like, I love you, but pull back because that was insulting in my opinion. And Heather was like, okay, your life is not that different. Like, if you want to, you're trying to make like you up here and we down here. I didn't like that comment. And that's what I like about me, if I'm being honest. Like, I'm not a stan where I'm just gonna ride for somebody with everything they say. I could like you today and not like you tomorrow. And it's not even a dislike, not, but what's right is right. In my opinion, what's wrong is wrong. So I didn't like that comment that Lisa said, if I'm being honest. Just wasn't called for. We didn't see Bronwyn meet with Whitney, and I noted here too, like she keeps saying these 5 lawsuits, but again, I can only find 3. Um, and I do feel like lawsuits sometimes just par for the course on being on TV. Everyone is going to see you on and think you're making these are types of monies. Some of the claims are true, some of them, it's a reach, but it's just par for the course. I don't understand why at times as reality TV stars, people don't address these before they hit the press or before it gets to a point of someone suing them. I would kind of try to negotiate it and keep it out of the public eye if possible. But it's just par for the course. I mean, Bronwyn's acting like this is groundbreaking information. Again, it's not a Jen Shaw situation. It's saying she borrowed money and didn't pay it back, or if she has a different idea of what her payment plan was, whatever it is. We got to let that play out. But Bronwyn is really holding on to this and really trying to, oh, well, I saw in the lawsuit 2 things, right? She was saying that, oh, the guy let Lisa use his Amex, and the guy let her borrow this money and Lisa didn't want her husband to know about it. So who's this guy? Is this the guy that we've heard about? Is this the one that she suck peen for wizard tickets or something? That was something they said back in the day. But Bronwyn is really holding on to this all because she's mad at Lisa. I told you guys she's mad at Lisa about that whole jeweler situation and that necklace in the last season on her anniversary that she did not purchase. So she going pretty hard on someone that brought her in this group. And y'all know how I feel about that. Like, going that's biting the hand that feeds you, because Lisa brought her into this group. But Bronwyn and Whitney, they're able to not Bronwyn and Whitney, they're having their conversation, and I don't know. I just This relationship to me seems curated off of hate for Lisa. I know that Bronwyn and Whitney tried to hang around each other last season, and they're, getting to know each other even more here. But it feels like it's a bond through a hate for Lisa. Does anyone else feel that way? You guys let me know. Mary talks to her son in this episode, and he's telling her that, he's struggling with the transition of not using and trying to walk the straight and narrow, which is understandable. He went from using every single day, all day, to now transitioning out of rehab and back home and really trying to find himself. And it's a daily struggle for him. He was honest with Mary and telling her that, he's finding comfort in smoking marijuana, kind of like eating a lot. So sometimes addictions manifest itself in other things when you're trying to quit. So it sounds like, in my opinion, that's what's happening. But I commend Mary, right, for really allowing him to understand that she's there to support him, but she's not beating him down with conversation because she wants him to share. But also, she seems to be taking a different approach and really understanding for herself and her own sanity that you can't change someone unless they want to be changed. You can ship them off to the best rehabs. You can tell them over and over again how bad things are for them and harmful for their bodies and their mental health. But unless someone wants to do it for themselves, there's really nothing you can do. She's trying to support him the best she can. While during this season, well, before the season started, I reported on how her son was recently arrested for an altercation and trying to break into his father-in-law's house. So it seems like this is an uphill battle for her son, and she's doing the best she can to support him. And my heart goes out to Mary and her son and wishing them both the best. And the fact that they're sharing this journey is groundbreaking, really, in Housewives. We've seen other kids struggle with addictions. Really on OC, I believe her name was it Lauren. But we've seen this before in some Housewives, but not to this level where it's being shared and the child is here speaking their piece. um, it's groundbreaking. It's heartfelt and it's genuine. And again, my heart goes out to Mary and prayers as well to Mary and her son. Bronwyn then sits down with Heather to clear the air on the whole mom shaming that, in my opinion, doesn't exist. And the conversation seems to go well. They clear the air, but I don't necessarily believe that it's going to last long because Heather is friends with Lisa. And the way things are going with Bronwyn and Lisa, I don't see this relationship or them trying to clear the air and stay cool and develop a friendship is going to last long, especially with Heather and mentioning how she feels about her loyalty. I just don't see this lasting long. It's not even a good friendship to me. They really don't see eye to eye. They don't. I'd rather them feud. Sorry, not sorry. So, the ladies then attend this event that I was telling you about by one of a socialite in Salt Lake City, and Lisa is there clearly to check bitches. She's there to check them, and I was ready for it. Brittany comes over and says hello to her, and she then tells Lisa that Angie compared her to Jen Shaw. And that's what she's like, oh, nah, we're going to have a conversation about this. Like, not now, but right now. Lisa goes to Angie and she asks what was said, like literally what was said. And she tells her about how the lawsuits were brought up. And she's like, well, tell me what Brittany told you so I can undo the mess. There was no mess to undo. Brittany told what was said. And that's what y'all was doing, being messy and talking about this lady because she didn't come to your little trashy camp event. It wasn't trashy, but it was definitely something I wouldn't have enjoyed. It was no glamping happening there. But yeah, so Angie looks like she's shitting bricks, right? Like, damn, just own it. I would have just owned it and said, yeah, I said it. Bad comparison. I should have said it. Cool, because it was apples to oranges, if you ask me. But yeah, Lisa comes over to check her and she's telling her about the lawsuits, and Bronwyn jumps in the conversation saying like, well, talk to me. You're not mad at Angie, you're mad at me. And Lisa's like, I don't got nothing to say to you. I don't like you. I don't want to talk to you. I'm talking to Angie about what she said about me. But Bronwyn jumps in it, and child, they start going back and forth. Bronwyn says, yeah, let's talk about these. You talking about the pause on these lawsuits, and what about these you using other people? You worried about what I'm doing with my husband or who money I'm spending? At least I'm spending my husband's money. At least I'm not spending no other man's money. Who Amex is you using? And Lisa called her a gout peen sucker. Honey, what? I was like, Whitney, I didn't know you could get gout in the penis. I thought it was just in the feet. What? One liner of the night. We're only 2 episodes in, and we're already getting epic one liners here because what? I cackled so hard, y'all. It was amazing. Bronwyn said, worried about clearing that. You need to clear them lawsuits. Get your cash up. She said, my Amex bill comes in a box. So sometimes I may have to suck a little pain to get Todd to not remember how much that bill was. And that's what she doing. And ain't nothing wrong with that, girl. Go on, swipe, swipe. Do what you gotta do. Do what you gotta do so you can swipe, swipe, honey. In my opinion, Bronwyn won that. While Lisa was throwing out, yes, the gout peen sucker was funny, but she's just throwing out and using things that she's learned about Bronwyn through Bronwyn or things that are being said in the streets. Bronwyn really, in my opinion, was reading. I'm not a big fan of Bronwyn, but a read is a read. And that was a good read. Bronwyn won that round. She was getting at her like, huh, you worried about my Amex, but who Amex is you spending? Does John know? Let's call him over here, girl. You know? You may need to get your cash up and clear these lawsuits, sweetie, instead of worry about what I'm doing over here and what money I'm spending. Because at least I'm spending my husband's money. She won. The girls are reading. And it's the ones that you really wouldn't expect. I felt like Brittany carried in episode 1 when she went at Whitney. Um, I feel like Bronwyn carried here and her back and forth with Lisa. It's not about just insults. You got to be witty. And even though she be bobbing that neck and that bob, she got in there with Lisa, and I I enjoyed it, honey. I did. It was pure comedy. And that's what I love. It's light shade. It's not low and dark and heavy. It's light. It's funny. It's witty. And that's what Salt Lake City is. Gosh, I love these women. I love them so much, y'all. I really, really do. These women are so top tier. And like I said, to go into someone else's event that we don't even really see on camera other than a hello at the beginning, and for them to use this lady's event to be yelling out things like gout peen sucker, reality TV gold. So yeah, I mean, it was a great episode. I enjoyed it. Episode 3 coming. I will give you guys a sneak peek. But Salt Lake City is here and they are delivering, honey. I can't wait to see what else. Like I said, we're starting off so top tier on Cash Trip, ruining other people's events. It's only up from here. So another great episode, y'all. I will be back to recap the next one on Thursday. So look out for that. Set your alerts. Again, like, share, subscribe to my YouTube channel. It's coming across the screen, Reality Recap 2876. Or follow me, or do both, really. Subscribe, like, share, do it all. And follow me on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, at what you see here, reality_recap, for all the trending reality news. And set your alerts. More recaps coming of Love and Hip Hop ATL, the newest episode of Salt Lake City, the finale of Life After Lockup this Saturday. And Bell Collective is back this week. So a lot coming. And how can I forget Potomac season premiere this Sunday? So that will be added to the roster of recaps. So much coming, guys. I look forward to it. So subscribe so you see my live as well as pre-recorded recaps. And so I always say before I end my lives, reality TV, this ain't even a live, y'all, but before I end this tea talk, reality TV stars are humans too. Let's not forget that. It's your girl V with Reality Recap. Enjoy your week. Peace.